All right, today we'll try to draw these quickly. I'm not going to draw them completely. I'm going to give you examples of how it can be done and should be done on most of it. So we're going to start with this part up here at the top. It's got a 8.5 inch by 11 sheet of paper with a border title block at the bottom. We're going to go ahead and put our guidelines in and also we will create some other layers on this as we go. So on CAD, we're going to using our zero layer. We'll turn ortho on so it gets lines. Draw 8.5 by 11. 8.5 and C for close. I'm going to offset those by 1/4 inch. I'm going to use fillet multiple. And I'm going to fillet those to trim off the corners. And it didn't do the multiple. Let's do that again. Fillet multiple. All right, our page inside here now is 10.5 by 8. Let's go ahead and do our bottom down here. We're going to offset 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch. All right, now I'm going to go back up to my layer properties, and we're going to create some new layers. So let's do a layer for our border. BOR. It's going to continuous line. We want it to print black, but border line is our thickest line, so we're going to go to 0.9. Okay. Let's create another layer. We're going to do a guideline. And it does it. Let's just leave it as a continuous line. It could be shown as a dashed line, but let's don't. Let's cancel that. And it is not a 0.9 thickness. It's a very thin line. So let's go to 0.25. All right, it's really our thinness. So let's go even smaller than that, 0.15. Okay. And let's close that. And we're going to select this one and this one. And we're going to make them into a guide. And let's go back and change the color on our guideline too. Let's make it a gray. And let's select this, 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 and this, and make them into our borderline. All right, now that we have that, I didn't do a fillet on the bottom down here. So let's go ahead and do our last fillet here and here. And trim. All right. Now going back to our measurement. I'm going to measure in here. We got 10.5 by 7.5/8. So we need to divide this into 3 equal spaces, right to left. So 10.5 divided by 3 is 3.5. So let's offset 3.5. Okay. Now then, this needs to be um, divided equally from here to here. So I cannot use my center point because that line is going all the way to the bottom. So let's do a break it point, modify, break it point, click here and here. And now that is, I can use my center point. I use my center point to draw my line, our midpoint. Make sure you hit the perpendicular, not the other midpoint. Right now we have it divided equally. Now, this first one says 8 equal spaces. In order to do that, we could do the math on it, and it's going to come up to a really crazy decimal fraction. Another way you can do that is use the divide function. All right, first of all, we need to make this line in 2 pieces. So modify, break it point, this, and break it here. And now we have a line. We're going to use the divide function, divide this line into 8 segments. All right, do I have nodes turned on? No, I do not. So if I try to, let me go back to our line. If I try to find those divisions, they're actually not showing. But we have our center, so we have one mark. If I turn nodes on my object snaps, now when I try to create a line, it's going to show me those nodes. So let's get in a little closer so it's showing me those nodes. There's one. There's one. All right, y'all see how that's done. All right, the next one. We need to find the center of this area here. All right, let me go back to these and let's make them into object layer. Let's get in our object layer. I need to find the center of this. So actually this has not been divided yet, so I can use my midpoint here and midpoint there, and that is the center. It tells us that our spacing is a 1/2 inch, but we do not have a line in the center, so we can offset by 0.25. Let's offset 0.25. And delete our center line and offset by 0.5. Okay, that one's finished. All right, the next one tells us a 30-degree angle, and it's going through the center. So let's break the line at that point. Let's do a break at point. Oh, I did the wrong thing. Break at point, this line at that point, and we're going to draw a line up through here, and tells us that we have a 30-degree angle in the negative direction. So I can draw a line starting from my center and turn ortho off. And I'm just going to draw 1 inch at an angle of 330. And we can extend that in both directions. And we have our starting of this. All it had to do is offset from here, and our spacing is 1/2 inch, so offset. All right, first thing I want to do is I'm going to extend the ones that's not long enough. So okay, now I'm going to do a trim. And you see how that works, and you can finish it up. Let's put the bottom down here though. Okay. The next one is at a 75 degrees, and it's also going through the center. So let's do a break it point. You can do it at the top or the bottom, but I'm going to do it at the top this time. And draw a line down. .75 degrees, so I'm going from my center point. I'll throw back off. I'm going to do this one 2 inches. Shift at 2 at an angle of 75. And now we're going to extend that one. The line looks funny. I don't know why. And you could use the offset on this one also. I think you know how to do that. All right, the next one. We got to find our center again. So we can come from our top, because we've already divided this one down. And it tells us that it starts a 1/2 inch down from this corner. So I'm going to draw a line down, 0.5, and then to my center. And that's my angle. I'm going to extend that, and then all you have to do is offset that to get the rest of it. Okay, the next one works in the same way. It tells us that it has, let's find our center to start with. And it starts 5/8 from the bottom. So let's draw a line up 5/8 and to my center. And I'm going to extend that one. All right, that is our perpendicular line. There's different ways this could be done, but let me show you the best way that I have found that I can draw it accurately. I'm going to start here somewhere in space, and I'm going to bring my cursor until I see that symbol of perpendicular. All right, that is the line that we need now, or the angle that we need, but it's not in the right place. So now I'm going to use move. I'm going to move this to my center point. And now I don't need that anymore, and I can extend that, and you can use offset to finish it. All right, the next page. Let's start by, I'll tell you what, let's just copy this. I'm going to delete those, delete this, this, and this, and all right, I deleted the line I didn't need to, so let's go and draw it back in. And let's change it to our border. Okay. You see I left these? The reason being, all I have to do on these is change them to the layer that they are. This one's going to be a hidden, which I don't have yet. So let's go on back to our layer properties. We have a border, a center, a guide, an object. We do not have a hidden, so let's create a hidden. HIDDEN, and let's make it red. Hidden lines are normally red. They are not continuous lines, so we got to load. Come down to hidden dash or hidden 2. Okay. And select it. Okay. And it is a thin line, so let's make it 0.25. Okay. Let's also make us another layer, a phantom. And let's change the color on it too. Let's make it a blue. Okay. And we do not have a phantom here, so let's load. Scroll down to phantom 2. Okay. And select it and okay. All right, now I can go to this one, select hidden. This one is a center. And let's make this one a phantom. Okay. All right. I deleted those lines on this first here, which I didn't have to. And you can go back on them just like I did on this and change your layers after you draw those in. I think you know how to do that. All right, this next one. Let's start from our center here and draw a line. Draw a line here and extend that. Okay, it tells us spacing is 3/8, but we now have a line in the center, so we're gonna have to go 3/16 with our first two. So 3/16. All right, I'm going to select these two, delete those, and I'm going to, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and trim. And now let's offset 8s. And I'm going to use the fillet multiple. I'm not going to draw this completely, but I'll show you how. If I use fillet multiple, I click this line and this line, this line and this line, this line and this line. Same thing over here. This line and this line, this and this, this and this. And you could do that on the bottom. All right, the next one. Finding our center. I'm going to use a center radius from my corner to my center. On this first one, I need this part right here and not none of the rest of it. So I'm going to trim. And delete. Next one, center radius from this corner to there. I need this part and none of the rest of it, so I'm going to trim. And delete. Center radius from the top corners. Trim. And let's see. Now delete. And from the other corner, center radius, trim. And delete. I'm not going to draw this completely, but I'm going to show you how it can be done also. This one has a 3/8 offset. So I can offset this, 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 and go to extend. And then you can complete the others just like that. All right, the next one. Let's draw us a line. And I'm going to use, up here we're on the draw tab, or the draw functions. You see rectangle. Beside rectangle, there is a down arrow for polygon. And first thing it asks me is how many sides. We want 6. and then specify the center. We want it right there. This one would need to be inscribed to get it correct size. So inscribe, start over. Hit something too early. Polygon 6, enter. Center polygon here. We want it inscribed and radius of point. Now I would use the copy function. After I do that, I'm going to use a base point on the bottom to go up to my copying. If I want to copy it down, I'm going to select it, copy, use the top of it to copy it down. And doing it side to side, I'm going to select all of it, copy, and I'm going to use this side to carry it this way. And that shows you how to do that one. And we're going to stop right there.